Hi, YouTube, and welcome to a highly anticipated playthrough that many have been requesting. It's time for your friend DrMick to deliver. It is Ghost of Tsushima with a therapist. I appreciate so very much that you are willing to take the time to watch this playthrough. If you have played this game before and you want to hear what I have to say about it, welcome. If you haven't played this game before and you are here so that I can shepherd you through it, welcome. A couple things before we start. As is the case for every playthrough, I will let you know that this is a blind run. I know absolutely nothing about this game. I have not watched any promo materials. I don't even know what the story is about. The only thing I know is that a lot of people really love the game and that it gets requested a lot. And I am excited to check it out. I ask that you please adhere to my very strict no spoilers and no backseating policy. I know it's a little bit trickier to do that on YouTube, but sometimes it happens, and I just ask that while we are putting episodes out, you please not post anything spoilery that I don't know in the comments, because I do read all the comments, and I encourage you to leave comments. Leave your reactions. Let me know what you think of the playthrough. If there's anything that I say during an analysis that stands out to you in a particular type of way, I love to hear that. I read every comment. I just don't respond to all of them because that would be very time consuming. Do leave a like. Leave a like on all of them. Subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that very much. Your engagement with these videos helps the video hit the algorithm, and it gets to more eyeballs and more people benefit from what it is that I have to say. I do not pretend to be all-knowing and omniscient. My analysis is only but one perspective. There may be things that I miss. There may be things that I don't read correctly, and that's okay. That's part of having a blind and spoiler-free run. So I will do my best throughout this playthrough to be as educational as possible. And it is on this channel is first and foremost an educational channel. I will be playing the game in English. I know that a lot of people watch or listen to me in the background of this game. They listen to me in the background when you watch my YouTube channels, and so I want to make sure that you hear the dialogue in English because the majority of my viewing audience is English speaking. I am also a native English speaker, and it's a lot easier for me to analyze things when I'm hearing people and seeing them as opposed to reading subtitles. So I will be playing the game in English. I also want to recognize up front that I am from the United States. I have never been to Japan. I am not particularly familiar with Japanese culture. So please do forgive me if there are moments in the game where maybe there's some piece of Japanese culture that is playing a role in what's going on and I'm not quite getting it because I don't have that kind of background. I will do my best to be aware of it to the extent that I can, but I just want to own that up front. All right? Just a white dude playing a game trying to educate folks as best I can. So, without further ado, let's play Ghost of Tsushima. I'm glad you're here.
The Mongol Empire is invading our home. They are brutal, relentless, unstoppable. We are 80 samurai.
This is just a test to make sure that I can pause during cutscenes. I can.
Against an army. Fighting to slow the invasion. Today, I die for my people. There must be thousands of them.
We will face death and defend our home. Tradition, courage, honor. They are what make us. We are the warriors of Tsushima. We are samurai! Nodadachi, go break their spirits. Hey!
This game's gorgeous. Probably gonna say that a lot. Holy crap.
Outsiders! Send your finest warrior to face me!
Nada, Jinnira.
I am Harunobu Adachi, descendant of the legendary Yoshinobu Adachi.
Ooh. Yikes.
Samurai! Do you surrender? Cowards without honor deserve no mercy. No mercy!
Oh, baby, here we go. Oh, dude, I just got goosebumps. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Let's go. Onward. Holy crap. Oh, baby. Oh, shit. Oh.
I need you with me.
We've lost so many.
You have to keep pushing, Lord Sakai. Even if it costs us our lives.
Okay, yes, I know I'm pausing very early here, but this keeps popping up in my head, so it feels worthwhile to discuss. It is a remarkably powerful thing when you can facilitate and perpetuate a culture. And I don't mean like a wide culture here. I'm talking about this group of samurai where people are willing to divest their own autonomous sense of self for a larger purpose. When you accomplish that as a group, you have the ultimate buy-in, where you have, 80 people who stand on top of that hill on their horses and look over and see all those boats and all these people that are attacking them, and don't even for a second hesitate. A sense of self-preservation is trumped by a sense of duty, a sense of allegiance to a broader purpose. And I don't say this from like a judgmental space. Like what I'm saying this from is truly you are seeing the ultimate, undeniable, unbreakable force psychologically when you are able to move people into this type of space. Where we go down to this beach and we're like in it, and they're like, yep, I should be here. This is my purpose. This is my duty. This is for my land. This is for my people. This isn't about me. This is about something greater. That is such a hard thing to penetrate if you were trying to be a counterweight to that. There is very little you're going to do to move a person away from that. And I would guess that a lot of that is cultivated through some level of like isolation, and I don't mean this in a bad way, echo chamber amidst them to get them into that space. But it's really an incredible thing. As we're charging down that hill and I'm going, yeah, like that's something that I would never do. Like I would never do that for anything, for the United States, for Las Vegas, for anything. There's nothing I'm going down that hill for. And I would venture a guess that 99% of the people that are watching this video are in the same boat as me, or on the same horse as me, where you're turning around and you're leaving because your self-preservation is so high relative to whatever great thing you think you're going to go die for. It's truly, I mean, in some ways, it's an admirable thing for me, and it's something where I look at it and it's so beyond my scope of like being able to really get into that headspace. It's just a really powerful thing. So, awesome set piece to start this. All right, let's keep it going. Wow. This is, oh, all right. I'm going to be a broken record on talking about how pretty this game is, but I can just already tell this is...
Men, we must hunt down the Mongol leader. Everyone, with me! No Mongol dogs! Hunt them down!
Now, something else that I'll point out while we're fighting here is that this is another case where when you objectify and label folks, as opposed to see them as humans, you can inflict some pretty nasty stuff on them. You know, it's Mongols versus samurai. It's not Jin versus, you know, whatever X person's name. That's right, run away. Alright. Holy crap, look at all this carnage. Oh. Wow. We are quite the force. Oh. Oh my gosh. That is so many dead bodies. Holy hell.
We're all that's left.
There is only one path for us. Find the Mongol leader and end him here.
I'll fight beside you to the end.
I know.
I am looking forward to learning more about why this is happening.
There. The Mongol leader.
I'm ready, Uncle.
We end this together.
Oh boy.
Uncle.
Oh.
I am Khotun, cousin of Kublai, grandson of Genghis. Brother, you are a warrior. I can see that. You trained your whole life for this. And you have won battles that lesser men have called unwinnable, yes? But while you were sharpening your sword, do you know how I prepared for today? I learned. I know your language, your traditions, your beliefs, which villages to tame and which to burn. So I'll ask you once again, Samurai. Do you surrender?
You already know the answer. You know he's not going to. My keyboard died. Sorry. Very anticlimactic. I was trying to pause and it like won't pause. Like, what the hell's going on? So I apologize for the Windows noise you might hear. There we go. Okay. So what I was going to say here is I'm impressed by that dude. Very impressed. I mean, granted, he didn't tell us what he knows, but him sharing, I studied you. I know what makes you tick. I know what you believe. I know why you do what you do. I know where you go, why you go there. That is power, because it means that you have taken the time to actually understand what you're working with. Now, I mean, when we say knowledge is power, people often say that in passing, but it really is power, and it's disarming. Because what it means is that your enemy is not reacting to their preconceived notions of you. Your enemy is moving in a way that actually respects and understands you. This is in a lot of ways why people don't get abused by strangers. You get abused by people who you are in intimate company with. because those people understand you. An abuser gets to know you, learns what you care about, why you do what you do, so that that can be used against you. So that that can be used in a way where it's almost like empathic to you, which is all the more nefarious when it's used against you in that way. And so this guy taking that time, making that effort, is one, an immense sign of respect, which I think is kind of interesting when juxtaposed against the ultimate disrespect of killing. But man, is that powerful. And you have to respect that. I love the sweat. Wait, why am I not dead?
How did I get here? Someone worked hard to keep me alive.
Interesting.
No weapons, just supplies. Need to keep moving.
A bit of a privileged brag, but I'm just going to say this because those of you that are watching this on YouTube or Twitch don't necessarily know this. I'm playing this in ultra wide, and stunning. Like, oh my god. I just have to acknowledge that. It's like, my god, is this just... Wow. Luckily, this allows me to letterbox it at 16 by 9, so you won't miss anything. But holy cow, it's like this game was
Someone
meant
saved
to be ultra wide.
Hid me back here. Maybe they have my sword.
Okay, so somebody, yeah, I mean, now what does that mean for you, Jin? Does that mean that you feel a sense of indebtedness? Obviously, there's curiosity of who would have saved me, but search for your katana. Am I in danger? Do not raise the alarm. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Probably shouldn't linger too long here, Jin. Search the house for your katana. Well, it's quite dark in here. I'm going to... Just bear with me 1 second. I'm going to raise the brightness just a smidge. For YouTube, because it's a little dark on the YouTube end. Okay, that's better. Here's hoping it's in here.
My armor.
How lucky. Okay. I will be right back. I'm gonna tuck my wife into bed, and then I shall return. Okay. Let's grab my stuff. Glad nobody came home.
Broken. But better than nothing. Someone was sharpening their blade. A warrior.
Ooh.
Back inside. Now. How are your wounds? Can you run?
I think so. Where's my sword?
Not here.
You're on here.
I'll take care of this. Please, hide. Oh, don't hurt me!
Shield Lumini. Rice!
I have some rice. Please take it.
Who are you?
I'm Yuna. You want your sword? Follow me.
How long was I out?
Long enough for the Mongols to conquer half the island.
Damn. So because this is a new playthrough, I'm going to talk about this concept here at the beginning, and I will just say this is going to transcend probably the bulk of this game, so I'm not going to continue to make the point. But that scene right there, I think, is a really great example of something that I started to allude to a little bit ago when we were on the beach, which is objectification. Humans have an immense capacity for empathy. When we really take the time to consider the other humans around us, there is a sense of engagement that comes along with that, a sense of intimacy and care, because humans at the end of the day are relational animals. As mammals, that's how we survive. Technology has aided us in not relying on each other quite as much, but even technology is still relational in nature, particularly when we talk about things like social media and stuff. So humans are ultimately relational. The more you get into empathy for others, the less likely you are to harm them, because you will see pain and suffering, and you'll engage with your own experience of pain and suffering. And that's not great. You don't want to be a person that inflicts that, unless you're a sociopath and not capable of actually engaging with that empathy from like a brain level. So one of the ways that humans, using our fancy schmancy prefrontal cortex, have learned how to combat some of the empathy that directly cuts across things like territorial disputes and power struggles is to engage in what we call objectification, which is to see another human not as another human, but as an object, as a set of labels, as a schema, if you will, that we are able to produce all sorts of judgments and perceptions on in such a way that dehumanizes them, so that you more easily can inflict harm and justify it, or not feel the effects of what it means to inflict that kind of pain and suffering on somebody. So when the Mongol comes into this hut, or abode, or whatever it is, and he actively, like, just throws that woman to the ground and says, "Give me the rice." And Yuna is cowering in fear, and that guy just doesn't give a shit. It's because that guy doesn't see Yuna. He doesn't see a human who has an entire history that's as complex as his. He doesn't see somebody who has needs, wants, desires, dreams, children, maybe, friends, people that rely on her. He sees whatever his objectification is of her, and thus is willing to engage in the way that he does. Now, that doesn't mean that we are not also doing that to the Mongol. He just so happens to have a mask on that makes it impossible to even see his face, so we can't really read any inflection on it, or we can't read any like fine motor movements on his face in order to empathize with him more, because he's behind a mask, so it makes it easier for us to cheer when Yuna throws a knife through him. But that is also a person. That is a person who, for whatever reason, has made a series of decisions or been coerced into joining an army for the Mongols and is willing to inflict harm on another person that he's been told is worthy of having harm inflicted upon them. So they're both right now in a space of objectification, and it's what makes that interaction so violent and impersonal. And then the problem here that I think is going to be a huge issue throughout this entire game, and is anytime objectification is part of the game, is that it is vulnerable to get away from objectification. Because if Yuna sees that person as a human, and that person doesn't see her as a human, survivability is low. So everybody that is on the island right now that is dealing with this invasion in some ways has to fall back on objectification as a means to make it more survivable, to avoid trauma. The trauma of burying your knife through somebody's neck. She is clever insofar as playing the like helpless woman role there so that he turned his back on her. That was very smart. But that's not the kind of thing that comes innately. That's not the kind of thing that a person does when they engage with the humanity of the other people on the island. This all doesn't happen in the first place if we don't have this level of meta objectification. But this is going to be a core component of this playthrough, I can already tell, and is something that will transcend so many of the interactions that I am sure that we will have. We have more of a connection to Yuna than we do the Mongol that she stabbed. Because one, we know her name, and two, as far as we can tell, she played a role in saving us. So had this been reversed and we walked into that house and that Mongol guy was there and he was a really cool dude and he told us his name and we learned a little bit about him, and then Yuna comes in and says, "This is my hut," and stabs him in the neck, we might have had an entirely different reaction. So even we are biased in the way in which we engage with this because of the fact that one of those was objectified just in the way that it was presented to us, and one of them has been further humanized by learning her name and seeing that she has convictions, and I'm sure we're going to learn more about her. So just sort of have that in mind as we go through this playthrough, because I think it's going to be a really important point that we're all going to have to be aware of. I don't want to keep pausing every time objectification happens, so that's why I'm belaboring this point, because I want everybody to have this in your mind throughout this, where you go, yeah, objectification contributed to that, which means that in your own life, be mindful of when you objectify people, because we do it all the time. We objectify the unhoused. We objectify the poor. We objectify anything that we tend to see as very uncomfortable that could engage our empathy in a way that doesn't feel good. It's something that humans have developed a means of doing to avoid the pain, to avoid the understanding of the suffering that so many other people go through as a way to self-preserve and justify our own situation. If this is your first playthrough of mine, just be warned, I pause a lot. So if your thought right now in part one of this playthrough is, oh my god, does this guy ever shut up? The answer is no. If you want a Let's Play where you just watch the game happen, I encourage you to watch a different playthrough, because I pause the game a lot. Just warning you. Inevitably, in every playthrough, somebody comments and says, God, could you just shut up and play the game? That's not what this channel is. So I'm just warning you to save you some time if you don't like this kind of thing.
Shit, not now. Shit, get down.
What's up, big dog? Look at that shield. Damn.
Let's move.
This way.
Oh, gosh.
Wait.
No. Oh, see?
There's
Look at
nothing we
that.
can do for her.
But I can save the others.
Oh, yeah, well, we're gonna have to be careful with that, Jin.
Lord Shimura was with me on the battlefield.
The Jito? Forget him.
Yuna, wait. Lord Shimura is my uncle.
You're Jin Sakai? The Jito's nephew?
I have to know. Did he survive?
I think so. The Mongols took him prisoner.
Where did they take him?
East, along the coast.
Toward Castle Kaneda. They must be holding him inside, celebrating their victory. I could take them by surprise.
You'll be killed.
Or I'll rescue Lord Shimura. Then help him drive the Mongols into the sea. He can contact the Shogun, call for reinforcements.
I didn't nurse you back to health to watch you throw your life away.
Why did you save me?
I couldn't leave you to die. I need your help.
Lord Shimura can help our whole island. And he's the only family I have left. Let's move.
Okay, so as we build our psychological profile for our friend Jin here, it would seem that Jin has a grandiose sense of trust in his own abilities to accomplish quite literally anything he sets his mind to. And I have no doubt that that's part of his like samurai training that he has learned throughout being surrounded by the people he's been around, that like you do whatever it takes to get the job done. And one of the ways that you would do that is to believe in yourself and your abilities, and to trust that the system in which you are embedded is properly designed in such a way that you will be taken care of as a result. So there's a reciprocity here. There's I give to the system gives to me. And that makes sense because back when we were talking about like why would you go down that hill to die for that? It probably is built in some ways around the idea of this is an input that will be reciprocated should I survive it. That the system is something that I believe in because it helps me, it helps my family, it helps the people I care about. So I'm willing to go for it. And I will be interested to see throughout this game when we have certain hurdles that come his way, how often does he potentially make a mistake in his judgment because he has a maybe legitimately, maybe overly so, inflated sense of ability to accomplish whatever it is that he wants or needs to accomplish. That is perfectly okay. Having that level of confidence, I think, is an important feature, particularly if you're going to be somebody that exerts force on the environment around you. You do have to be mindful, though, of the limitations of your abilities, not so that you can self-deprecate and cut yourself at the knees, but so that you can actually realistically assess a situation and the level of influence that you can exert upon it. And perhaps there are other resources you may have to engage with in order to accomplish it better. Where maybe there are folks that can help Jin along the way so that he doesn't have to do it himself. But it's time for us to take inventory of what's going on around us and see what's realistic and what's not. So it's just something, you know, I know a lot of times people like when I mark stuff early on when we meet people. That's something that's obviously standing out to me, is that there's a sense that of duty and a sense of ability that he trusts. Follow Yuna.
Under here.
Great. There's just so much tension here. Yeah. These people are just preying on like the weak and helpless too. Like they don't even care. Just like, oh, look at you, unarmed farmer, die. That's pretty intense.
Through here.
Move.
Shit. They cleared the road. If we cross, someone's bound to see us.
I'll take that chance.
Wait.
Yeah, right there. Bit reckless. Like, think about that for a second. Like, that's just a small thing. But that's what I'm talking about. I'll risk it. Jin is very obviously emotionally compromised right now because of the fact that his uncle, as far as he knows, is alive and being held captive. That is a total lapse in judgment there. Instead of taking inventory of the entire environment, he looks at a road that he very obviously will be spotted on, and he's like, go. Yeah, I'll risk it. It's fine. Embracing death as an honorable way to go out because of what you believe in is, again, a very powerful thing, but it also can lead to recklessness. There is some level of usefulness or utility to engaging with a sense of self-preservation, because if you're not quite ready to die yet, maybe you don't look at the road and go, yeah, screw it, I'll cross it. Maybe you look at it like Yuna does and go, well, wait a second, let's strategize this and see what we're working with. So it's a good thing we have her here, and that I guess that Jin trusts her, because if he's just going to go balls out there, I don't know that his survivability is particularly high. You got to be mindful, man.
Come on.
How did that guy not see us? Whatever, it doesn't
More
matter.
guards.
We'll take the rooftops.
Will, huh? Oh shit.
Up
Oh
here.
shit.
Onto the roof.
Climb
Okay.
roofs. Scavenge battlefields. You're a thief.
When I need something, I take it.
Like my katana.
I traded it for food and medicine.
You what?
Don't worry. We'll find the buyer. Get your sword back.
That's understandable. God, we were out for a long time.
We've got a long ride ahead. Take whatever supplies you can carry.
This is someone's house.
And they're not coming back.
Yeah, she's quite pragmatic. At least so it seems so far. Is this a game that auto-saves? Okay, I'm gonna be very safe here with manual saves. Gosh, the lighting. The lighting is so good.
Through here. The man I traded your sword to lives just up ahead.
Am I gonna have to kill him to get it back?
Toro! Shit. Bastards found him.
Stand watch. I'll search the house. He will answer for this. They must be here.
Dang.
I am Jin Sakai, nephew to the great Lord Shimura. And I am no coward!
Your enemy is no match for you. But you still lack control.
I was practicing.
With your father's weapon? The sword of Clan Sakai has saved lives and ended wars. Who did this to you?
No one.
I will teach you to defend yourself.
I know how to fight.
To master your blade, you must first control your emotions.
I can do that, Uncle.
Kinda. You've been watching my playthroughs. You knew I was going to pause here. You knew I had to pause here. You cannot control your emotions. This is a common misconception. You can control your response to your emotions. It's a very important distinction. Jin being overwhelmed or scared or embarrassed, whatever it is that he's experiencing right now, is perfectly okay. Because that's how he feels. The tears, all that stuff, totally okay. It's not about controlling your emotions. Usually when people hear that, they hear that as you don't get emotional. You hold it back. If you're angry, you stuff it. Or if you're sad, you don't attend to it. That's not what that means. If you say control your emotions and you mean it in the healthy way, what you're actually saying is you recognize what the emotion is, you have a complex understanding of what that emotional experience means for you and your behavioral tendencies and the thoughts that may exacerbate it. And you then respond to that. Perhaps you acknowledge the sadness. And maybe Jin learns if I'm sad or if I'm scared, I get hasty or reckless. So I have to be aware of that. So what does that mean? I'm sad right now. So what does that mean? I need to take inventory of my environment. The thing I'm going to respond to the things that I can control. I'm going to talk myself through it. It's okay for me to be scared right now. What's important is for me to control what I can control. What are the variables that I can control? That will maybe look like somebody who is actively stuffing their emotions, but it isn't. The path to control your emotions is to acknowledge, allow, and respond and validate, not stuff and go. Very, very, very important to understand that. If you get angry, that's fine. There's no such thing as a bad emotion. There's no such thing as a positive emotion. There's no such thing as a negative emotion. There are just physiological experiences that we have that are varying degrees of pleasurable to experience and have varying degrees of impact on the ways in which we interface with the environment. Anger is not a bad thing, nor is sadness. Happiness is not necessarily a good thing. The utility of an emotional experience is relative to the environment that it's encapsulated in. And your response to that, with the acknowledgement of that environment, is really the ultimate. And that's why you will hear things like mindfulness and meditation. You don't have to meditate in order to gain a sense of mindfulness. And mindfulness doesn't mean sitting there going, Om. Mindfulness just means understanding the physiological sensations in your body and understanding the healthier ways to attend to that so that you can exert force on the environment in a way that's meaningful. You can choose the way that you respond instead of react.
Show me.
And Jin is young, so it's going to be even harder for him to do that. And that's okay.
Let's see what you've been practicing. Try to strike me.
Yes, Uncle.
Oh, geez. I am not as adept as I was. It feels like
Close up.
Metroid when you're Samus and you have all your stuff and then all of a sudden you don't have it anymore.
Try to strike me. is your turn to attack, Jin. Attack! I am ready. Well done. If you'd fought like that, your attacker would not have bruised you so easily.
It wasn't a fair fight.
Imagine he's returned to finish what he started. And he'll use every dirty trick he knows. How will you defend yourself?
He's big, but I'm quicker. I'll stay out of his reach. Wait for him to get tired. Then drop him with one strike.
Good. A samurai must always fight with patience and discipline. Even when his opponent resorts to trickery.
I'll remember, Uncle.
Now, break through my defenses. Show me Jin Sakai is a warrior of great courage.
Nice. I like that
Break
you
my
use.
block with a heavy attack, then strike quickly. A heavy attack will unbalance your foe. Follow with a quick strike. Enough!
Beautiful.
I yield.
You let me win.
Not at all. If you held a real sword, I would be dead.
Really?
I would never lie to you, Jin. Now for a change, try to block my attacks. I will not go easy on you. Good.
Discipline.
Well done.
That's good.
Hold your blocking.
Oh.
I'm sore. Can we take a break?
We're not finished yet. Find your resolve and fight through the pain.
Hell yeah. This is your health. This is your resolve meter. Draw on your resolve to heal and perform other special abilities. Gain resolve by killing enemies, parrying attacks, or using other advanced skills.
It's time you learn to parry. Wait for me to make the first move. Once I strike, block my attack. Fine parry.
Beautiful. There we go. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Good form, Jin. You're improving.
Need to catch your breath?
It'll take more than a child to knock the wind out of me. Now then, let's see you defend against a spear. Dodge my spear, then follow.
Something I respect immensely is that Jin's uncle is direct with him, is realistic. Too often, adults believe that they are supposed to sugarcoat things for kids and teenagers, that they're supposed to sanitize it so that by the time it reaches the kid, it's palatable and feels okay. Kids often get to a point in their teens where that actually feels quite disrespectful, because the older you get, the more you start to realize that life is going to kick you where it hurts in a lot of different ways at times that you really don't want it to. And when you keep getting sanitized information, that actually starts to become antithetical to development as a human who will be capable of interfacing in the environment in a meaningful way. So what I love is that his uncle says, I will never lie to you. And, in that moment says, I'm not going to lose my breath to a child. Some people might hear him say that and go, that was kind of mean. It's real. It's true. It's not really a disputable thing that his uncle is not exhausted by this exercise with his nephew, because his nephew absolutely has no chance at tiring him out here. And the reason I think that it's so important to drive this home is because when you're honest, not only does it mean that people will understand that your criticisms are honest, it means that people will also appreciate when you give them credit. So when his uncle says, you would have, if you had a sword, you would have killed me there. That's going to be a big deal for Jin to hear. Because if you trust the criticism, you'll trust the praise. And that's where telling the truth and being clear and being direct and doing that consistently and reliable actually has long-term positive effects. You do not have to sanitize reality. There's some level of that you do to preserve some degree of like naivete, because Lord knows you'll lose it at some point in your life. But you don't have to sugarcoat things, particularly in these types of contexts, as often as adults sometimes think they have to. So I appreciate and respect his uncle for the way that he's handling this. When you find the wall, push harder. How do you feel about that mentality in this case? I think it's a reasonable mentality. I think there is utility in building things like distress tolerance. There is utility in learning what your limits are and learning how to push past them in a controlled, meaningful way. I do think that if you bail out at the first sign of being sore or tired, you are not going to build that skill as quickly. There is a limit. You don't want to push into pain. You don't want to push into just utter incompetence or danger. But there is absolutely utility in pushing yourself past that initial threshold of discomfort. People who constantly bail as soon as they get uncomfortable with things are often quite avoidant and believe that the world is a lot more painful than it actually is. You're far more capable of dealing with pain than you could ever imagine. You just have to be willing to like scaffold yourself into it.
Go up with a counterattack.
Left alt. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on.
Good reflexes.
Okay.
Excellent counter.
Ooh, this is cool.
Excellent dodge. Remember, dodge, then counterattack. A fine counterattack.
I love that they have where one of the dodges is something that is like you can move toward it. That's great.
You see, there is no weapon, no warrior you cannot overcome.
Thank you for these lessons, Uncle.
We are not finished yet. Jin Sakai, will you honor me with a sparring match?
I wouldn't want to hurt you.
If you're that confident, let's make this interesting. The first to land 5 strikes gets to choose dinner.
Nice.
I hope
Love
you like
that.
octopus.
That's great.
Well,
Oh, shit.
well struck, Uncle.
Very good, Jin.
You're too fat.
You show great skill.
Haha.
Before we eat, I have one last question. For generations, our families have lived by a code. Tell me the virtues that guide us.
Loyalty to our Lord. Control over our emotions. And
You know this.
honor. To fight bravely and uphold the legacy of Clan Sakai.
Those are your father's words. What does honor mean to you?
I guess... protecting people. The ones who can't fight for themselves.
You have a good heart. But first, we must show everyone that we serve our Lord with courage, integrity, and self-control.
You say that like it's easy.
It's never easy, Jin. I struggle with it every day. But we must set an example for our people by remaining true to our code. And to ourselves. That is the meaning of honor.
Okay. There's a lot of good stuff happening here. You can see why people wanted me to play this. I think beyond the cool ending there, I think the most important part of that entire interaction was the differentiation that was facilitated there in getting Jin to use his own words. There is a concept in psychology, particularly in marriage and family therapy. There's a approach to therapy. It's called Bowenian systems therapy. This guy, Murray Bowen, came up with all these interesting ideas about anxiety and how systems orient themselves to anxiety. And it's kind of like one of the core traditional models that gets taught in MFT. And one of the many principles in Bowenian family therapy is the idea of differentiation. And that can show itself in a few different ways. The primary way in which Bowenian systems therapy would talk about it would be to say that you achieve adulthood and personal autonomy when you can determine what anxiety in your family system is yours versus which anxiety are you absorbing from the system. Where perhaps the reason that you're anxious is not necessarily because you're anxious, but because your mom is, or because you're anticipating anxiety in the system based on your previous experience. And that if you can recognize where your anxiety is versus where other people's anxiety is, you can thus set more effective boundaries and have a better sense of self-understanding. Another way of understanding differentiation, which I think plays much more of a role here in what Jin's uncle is teaching him, is the differentiation of narrative. We learn things from other humans, from our environment, from our experiences through reinforcement mechanisms that are built into the environment around us. It's all part of the nurture component of development. And one of the things that we carry with us are our narratives, meaning your understanding of various concepts of society at large, of the people around you, a certain schema that you might have for groups of people or things. And we don't come out in this world with autonomous, original thoughts about these things. We get taught them. So when asked that question, and Jin basically reiterates what he's learned from his father, that is totally developmentally appropriate. I'm not judging Jin for that, but it's an undifferentiated answer. It's an answer that he believes to be true or thinks is his own thought because that's what he learned and that's what makes sense to him and that's what he carries around in his mind. So when he's asked that question, he gives that answer. But when his uncle says, those are your dad's words. I want to know what you think. And Jin gives us a much less sophisticated answer. He gives us protecting people. And in a lot of ways, there's a beauty to that, because that's what I would expect from somebody who is building their own autonomous cognitions and ideas and conceptualizations about what's going on. So that's an incredibly powerful process for Jin's uncle to facilitate for him. Because as a teenager, he's going to continue to learn to do that. And if he has scaffolding around that from people he trusts, he's going to build more of a sense of his own autonomy and principles and virtues. Now, Uncle follows that up by talking about the family code and the things they live by and what they care about and integrity and honor and self-control and all that stuff. So the uncle is coming in on the back end basically saying, here's what your dad thinks and here's what the family thinks and here's what society at large thinks, and you're going to have to figure out what that means for you. But the act of having him differentiate before he does that is super key, because it means that when Jin's uncle shares those things, Jin may feel more empowered to say to himself, which aspects of that do I believe in? And that plants the seed for the thing that I was talking about 2 minutes into the playthrough, where by the time he gets to adulthood and he's a samurai and he's part of those 80 guys that are going to go down that hill and charge the Mongols, it's because he decided that he believes in what he's going down the hill for. It's not something that he's necessarily been propagandized into. It's not something that he just kind of goes with it because he doesn't have any alternative representation, it's likely because he was given the opportunity to decide for himself if he believes that. And that's a very powerful and important thing to facilitate in people. So again, huge amount of respect for Jin's uncle. What a cool set piece that is for us to learn a little bit more about Jin and learn a little bit more about what makes him tick and also experience a tutorial at the same time. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. What are your thoughts about when a person lives out his or her life based on a code of virtue? So long as that's something that that person is autonomously engaging in and is deciding is the guiding principle that they believe in, all for it. Thank you for the raid, Claire. I also love that Jin has that flashback as soon as he touches his katana, because people load memories and processes and stuff into objects, and so his katana is something that is incredibly important to him, obviously, and it's emblematic of all the things that he's learned, who he is. It's part of his identity. It's an extension of his body. So when he picks that up and immediately gets kicked back into that moment where he remembers all the things that he learned in the very core of, like, it's a beautiful thing. That happens to people all the time. It's why we hold sentiment in various objects. It's why I have Coconut Man sitting on that shelf over there. These things matter a great deal. The associations we have are very important. Hell yeah. Oh, hi. Discipline. Oh shit, that's the alt thing. Whoa. I do not like that I have to hold alt to do that. I will say. That is the one thing that is not my favorite. But I'll get used to it.
You found your sword.
Where can I find a horse?
The stables aren't far. This way.
The sun's coming up. Oh, man. Man, I didn't want to kill you, man. But you came at me, so...
Island's crawling with them.
Where are the stables?
Behind that burning farmhouse. Follow me. We can get close, slit their throats, and kill them without a sound.
Without honor. I will not break my code.
Face me, invader!
Oh. This is going to be interesting because there's a real dissonance that I experience when I hear stuff like that. On one hand, I greatly respect the consistency, the drive, and the willingness to stay consistent and hold your values. Like, I really do. I respect that. If he truly believes in looking a person in the eye before you kill them because it's honorable, okay. That also severely decreases his survivability. There is the dissonance there is that is not always the most pragmatic approach. That in this case, the survivability comes in the form of objectification. One of the things that's kind of cool about this is that him saying that he wants to ensure an honorable death for the people that he's going to engage with, it in some ways is an acknowledgement of the humanity of the people that he's fighting. I choose to look them in the eye. I choose to give them an opportunity to fight me. And if I best them, it's because I've done it honorably, and because it was either supposed to happen, or it's because it's a culmination of all the things that I've trained for and built or whatever. So like I respect it, and also it's like not always the most pragmatic approach. And so how do you handle that tension? Do you handle that tension, or do you just kind of double down on what your normal approach would be? Is that still a thing to hold if it puts somebody else at risk? You'd have to ask Jin that, because Jin seems to hold in high regard the idea of protecting people. And so what is your hierarchy of principle is essentially the question that I would love to ask Jin. If he was a client of mine and we were talking about this, say, what's your hierarchy of principle? Is it protecting others that comes first? Is it ensuring an honorable death of your enemies? Like, where do you throw those things in terms of the prioritization? Because that is something that he is going to have to meaningfully engage with, and I'm sure is part of all the things that he's been figuring out over the course of his development. But in this case, it seems like honor over protection. Or he saw Yuna take care of herself, and he's like, nah, you got this, so I'm not really worried about your survivability, so now honor matters to me because I'm not really worried about how helpless you are. Who knows? It's a great question, though. Use WASD to target enemies with your sword attacks. Okay. Target the pulsing enemy and attack. Oh, beautiful. Damn. Holy shit.
Close.
We can't save everyone.
I'm done running, and I can finally help.
Damn it.
There we go. There's his prioritization. I'm going to help others. Help whoever is in trouble. And Yuna's gonna follow, I guess.
More guards.
Don't let anyone escape. Thank you, my lord.
They said all the samurai were dead.
Do you have somewhere to hide?
I heard Golden Temple might be safe.
Go. Stay off the roads. And guard your son with your life.
You risked your life for them.
They couldn't defend themselves. And I can't let more of our people die.
They're not the only ones who need you. My brother. The Mongols took him.
That's why you saved me.
Taka is my only family.
And Lord Shimura is mine.
Please. I just want my brother back.
I'll help you find him after I save my uncle. I promise.
I'm coming with you. Stables are just up ahead.
Oh shit! So she's just gonna bow and arrow.
Let's get to the horses.
They're samurai horses. The few we didn't take into battle.
Lucky for them. And us. Which horse do you want?
I'm surprised that the Mongols didn't kill the horses. I mean, that horse is cool. Digital deluxe horse available. How about that? Well, I paid money for this horse, so let's go with the digital deluxe horse. Be with you for your entire journey. Damn, this is a big choice. Hold on a second. I mean, he is cool. He is the color that I like the best.
Easy there.
He suits you.
And he needs a name.
Nobu for trust, Sora for sky, Cage, shadow. Oh, Nobu for sure. It's not even close.
Nobu, a trusty companion.
You have chosen to name your horse Nobu. Be your companion's name for your entire journey. Yep. Castle Kaneda.
Castle Kaneda.
They're holding your uncle inside.
A long-ass ride if it's already nighttime again.
The walls are too high to climb. We could cause a distraction. Sneak in.
No. We walk in the front gate. Khotun Khan set fire to our best swordsman. Humiliated my uncle. Butchered the warriors of Tsushima. I'm going to repay his kindness.
By repeating the same mistakes that got your friends killed.
That's what the Mongols will think. But this time, I'll strike first.
He's a bit reckless. But survival's the ultimate reinforcement mechanism. So the very fact that Jin is still alive, albeit I get it that Yuna nursed him back to health to an extent, he likely has had these types of tactics before. So he, in the same way that people may be afraid of certain things happening again because they happened once before, they can work in the reverse. If things have worked for years, you may be biased to believe that it's going to work here. So let's go, guns blazing. It's what I believe in. Even if it maybe isn't the smartest path, he could fall back on, well, it's always worked. And I have the upper hand because I'm the one that's going to strike first. Because I'm confident in my abilities. I mean, there is something to be said for that. So there's this beautiful yin and yang here with him. And like, I am willing to just go guns blazing. And you have Yuna who's like, let's maybe be smarter about this. Maybe engage our brain, sir. But he is having to deal with what we were talking about earlier in terms of control your emotions, which is he is compromised emotionally because of his investment in what it is that's happening. So does this make him more rash? Does this make him forego discipline? Not here to judge, just looking at what he's bringing to the table here. A lot of confidence.
Wait here until I finish them.
Oh, don't worry, Jin. I will, because challenge the Mongols to a standoff. Now, I wonder... I want to give Jin some credit here, just in case I'm not fully understanding his context yet. In the same way that the Mongol guy said, hey, I have studied you. I understand the way that you work. There's a good chance that Jin has done the same. I don't know. And maybe it's that Jin understands what he's working with in the Mongols and knows that if he walks in here and requests a standoff, that these people are going to respect that. And that perhaps it makes it a more survivable environment as a result. It very well could be the case that this is an informed opinion as well. And that our perception of this as being, my perception of this being relatively reckless is because I don't have an understanding of what he's working with. It's possible.
I've come for Lord Shimura.
Ooh!
You did it.
Don't sound surprised.
What's all that noise?
Not sure. The Mongols fired them off at the beach.
Oh, shit. Ah! Dude, I'm gonna hit that Windows key so many times because I haven't hit Alt to do that.
Ready?
Oh, dude, you didn't stand a chance. End suffering. Ooh, I like the way that they put that.
Ready?
That's cool. Because I believe that is how Jin would see it, so it makes total sense. Damn. Alright, let's go.
One. We're looking.
Wait, you guys just spawn infinitely or what?
Ready? Ready?
Keep moving! We can't retreat!
Oh, shit.
We can't keep going.
I have to. Fall back.
Alone?
Keep the path clear. When I find Lord Shimura, we'll need a quick escape.
I'll get the horses ready.
Do it. If I'm not back soon, ride for the forest.
Alright, push through the castle to save your uncle. Defeat the Mongols. I will. Damn it, dude. Oh, man. I'm just never gonna think to hit alt. Hey, thanks for watching this. Appreciate you being here. Really cool to start a new playthrough and have so many of you here to enjoy it with me. This game is running remarkably well on PC. I am very impressed. Dodging arrows. Before firing arrows, Mongol archers will call out a signal their allies to duck. Damn, there really is a lot of boats. Oh, thank God he slides down the ladder like that. The RPGist in me is looking for drops. I'm guessing I probably don't need to, but whatever. What's up, fellas?
Are you cowards?
Sandra Dashte, samurai.
Oh, man. Who wants some? All right, now I think I'm getting the hang of it now.
I am Jin Sakai, nephew of Lord Shimura. I have come to avenge his honor.
Jin, your uncle has told me much about you, Jin Sakai. I will show him his nephew, broken and humiliated, begging to join the Mongol Empire.
Jin.
This is your time, Lord Sakai.
Love that he addresses. I mean, dude, there's so much respect there. There's so much disrespect and respect at the same time. He calls him Lord Sakai. I mean, he addresses him by his title, which I think is a continued reflection of the fact that he did his homework before he came here. Which makes it all the more terrifying. This is a formidable foe. This is not some savage that doesn't care about anything and has no reason for what he's doing. This is a guy who did his homework, understands what he's dealing with, addressed me accordingly. Oh boy, he respects me. That makes him all the more terrifying. Or he just knows how to show a degree of respect.
Come here to learn.
Here we go. See, he knows. He knows I'm gonna wait. Ooh, this is good.
Your uncle is watching.
Oh, baby, this is awesome.
Submit, Lord Sakai. Slit your throat.
Damn it. Dude, you're gonna get me with that move. He's gonna learn that I don't know how to dodge that in any kind of meaningful way. Dude, I'm so screwed. I'm so screwed. And I'm gonna get reckless as a result. I'm supposed to lose that fight, I'm sure.
Enough. Surrender. Show your uncle how easily he can bring peace to your home. Save yourself.
I failed. Again.
No. Hold on. Before we go to this cutscene, I think it's really key that he keeps asking us to surrender. It's very important. And I guess as far as we're going to interface with this guy, I'm going to reiterate that the fact that he knows what he's dealing with is important here. He knows that his efforts will be met with constant resistance until every single samurai is dead. Unless, and even then, that will not necessarily feel like a victory. It seems to me like he understands that the only way that he gains any kind of psychological victory, or any kind of, you want to call it moral, emotional, whatever, is to get a samurai to surrender. That's the ultimate kick in the nuts. And for so long as they do not surrender, they still hold some degree of power over him. I don't know what his perception of that is, but I think it's incredibly key. This idea that he didn't kill Jin's uncle. He could have, but he didn't. Because Jin's uncle, I'm guessing, didn't surrender in the same way that Jin didn't. So he shoves him off a bridge. I mean, that guy's killed people before, don't get me wrong, but he has a level of respect for the samurai. And I think he probably knows that if the samurai submit, it probably means that the community at large is likely to submit, in which case he likely can provide he can exert much more force over the group, because it's not going to be met with as much resistance. Because if the samurai give up, then, okay, we've lost our protectors, we've lost the people that have dedicated themselves to our safety. We might as well be in indentured servitude or slavery to the Mongols at this point, because we got no chance. And exactly, just about to say, is the closing point of this, I appreciate you saying it too, Dante, is you kill the samurai, they become martyrs. Now, that's not to say that your army couldn't just decimate the island. Like, there is that. But yeah, you kill the samurai and the samurai don't give up, that's going to galvanize the community. A samurai gives up, oh baby, you lost it. And so he's going to be testing the mental fortitude of the metal that we discussed early on in this playthrough.
Father.
Jin. Help me.
Oh no.
May your death benefit all beings.
Oh.
Young master, it's time.
I'm coming, Yuriko.
Wow. I wish I could ask Jin about that moment. I can only speculate. I do wonder if Jin did not attempt to help his father because perhaps that would mean that his father wouldn't like die admirably or with honor. Like, I don't know, maybe there is some part of him that thinks that the honorable death is like his father couldn't hold his own. His father got bested, and that's how it goes. And I do wonder how that would conflict with his desire to protect people. But what we saw there is very interesting. That's a Jin that didn't recklessly run his way in there and get himself killed. That's a Jin that literally watched his father die at the hands of a person who had bested him. Did he do that so that he could respect his father in a way that's in line with the code that he is so heavily investing his sense of self into? I mean, that's the level of complexity we're at here with that. It also could be that Jin was scared and didn't know what to do and just froze. That's certainly a possibility as well. I'm not naive to that. But when you really start to peel back some of the layers that have been presented to us up until this point, it really does call into question the extent to which Jin is navigating dissonance by writing his code. Or in a moment like that, I need to forever respect my father, so much so that I will bow to his armor because I saw my father die an honorable death. I don't know the answer to that. It's just really interesting stuff there to see that.
The whole island has come to mourn your father.
Can't you send them away?
You must face them, Jin. You are now the master of Clan Sakai.
Yes.
Oof.
You're not alone, Jin. Your father is the wind at your back. Your mother, the birds in the trees.
And Uncle?
He will tell you at your father's pyre.
Thank you, Yuriko.
Jeez, this is so freaking pretty. I just can't even believe how gorgeous this is.
If you ever need guidance, Clan Adachi will help you.
Thank you. Can I bow back? Or is that not something I do now that I'm the Lord? Man, what must be going through his head? I now all of a sudden have all this power and respect that I didn't even necessarily earn, but has been bestowed upon me just by process. Father died and now it's on me. These people bow their heads. They bow their heads because they're supposed to, not because I've earned it. Maybe that's going through his head, and simultaneously I'm sad about my father's death, and now all of a sudden I have this power I have to deal with.
Protected the people above all else. A true samurai.
What does it mean to him that his father asked for help before he died? Man, this is just what a complicated walk up the steps this is. I am here because of my failure to protect my father. Or my choice not to help him.
I couldn't save him.
There you
I
go.
was a coward.
Jin, you are a samurai.
He died because of me.
Nope. No idea what his uncle's going to say, but before his uncle says something. Oh, grief's a bitch, man. It's not something that anybody wants to deal with, yet we all deal with it. And if you want to learn more about grief, I encourage you to watch my Q&A about it, which you can find on this YouTube channel. But we're going to talk about personalization as a often unhealthy way to cope with something like this. Jin's father did not die because of Jin. He did not die because of Jin's inaction. Jin's father died because the person who put the sword through his neck chose to put the sword through his neck. The guy that put a sword through his neck decided to walk away there. His father wouldn't be dead. Whether Jin could have saved his father is an unknown variable that will exist in perpetuity. He will never know what would have happened had he stood up to that person. Perhaps he would have died. Perhaps he would have saved his father. You have no idea. The reason that people do that, the reason Jin might get into that space of saying it's my fault, is because it lends itself to the idea that you had control. And that in future circumstances, you will be able to exert that control. But that is not necessarily true. The only reason Jin's father is dead is because that person decided to drive a sword through him. That's the reason. His father was bested by somebody for whatever reason. That's a hard thing to sit with. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the reality, and the reality is the hardest thing to sit with. It's easier to sit with the idea that I could have exerted control and my father would be here had I done something about it than it is my father lost a battle and I watched it happen. And I didn't do anything because I either couldn't or I didn't know what to do or I chose not to. But you want to intercept that personalization when you see that. And if you're a person that tends to go in that direction as a way of processing things that are outside of your control, you really need to watch it, because what will happen is you may develop some really severe and debilitating depression, poor self-esteem, etc., because you're going to constantly believe that you are the reason that the things around you are happening because of either action or inaction. And that is an unfair proposition for any human to take on. It's important to take accountability for the things you're accountable for, yes, but you do not want to over-personalize things that were not under your control. It is unhealthy to do so.
Your father fell in battle saving his only son. His reward is a warrior's death. Now you
This guy
will
gets
carry
it.
on his legacy. Your father's spirit resides within this blade. He is always with you.
Look at the intensity. Oh, it's awesome.
Tomorrow, you will come to my fortress as my ward. Today, say goodbye to your father.
Damn. Damn. I have goosebumps. It's the second time I've gotten goosebumps today. Wow. That's powerful shit, man. Jin's got some good folks around him.
Father, how do I save him?
Follow the wind. That's so cool. Before we do that, beautiful opportunity to talk about attachment. We are one episode in, and I feel like I have run the psychological gauntlet already. This is fantastic. I am just so happy and fulfilled right now as a content creator. I just want all of you to know that. If you want to know more about attachment theory, watch my video about attachment theory, because I lectured about it for about 2 hours. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown here in terms of how this plays out in this specific situation. We form, according to attachment theory, we form attachments to our caretakers early on in our development as part of nurture. And we derive that attachment from how consistent and reliable our caregivers are to meeting our physical and psychological needs. depending on the way that goes, you internalize those caregivers in a particular way, and you internalize a sense of who you are relative to that caregiving and what that means for whether you will have your needs met by others or whether you need to do it yourself. And we seek physical proximity, and later on in adulthood, emotional and abstract proximity, to our attachment figures, our core attachment figures in times of distress or in times of significant uncertainty or adversity. Jin, in this moment, is washed up on a beach with a significant amount of unknowns. He is dealing with a sense of incompetence, which I'm sure definitely runs counter to who he believes he's supposed to be as a totally capable samurai. It is a giant puzzle with an enemy that is very, very difficult to manage and best. And in that time of uncertainty and adversity, he looks at his sword and he seeks proximity to his father by saying, "What do I do? How do I save him?" And it's beautiful. And we all do this, sometimes without realizing that we're doing it. Jin is showing that he had some degree of attack. I do not know whether it was secure. I don't know any of that. It's impossible for you to know that without observing it. But he is showing that one of his core attachment figures was indeed his father. And his seeking of proximity in that time of distress for the answer is perfectly okay. It would be not okay if he's doing that in lieu of engaging with some of the people in his life that maybe have something better to say, because his father is dead and cannot say anything other than maybe blow the wind in a particular direction for him, which is beautiful. But the way that you can tell who a person's attachment figure is, or what a person is attached to, because in adulthood you can actually start to attach to certain things, like a kid attaches to a stuffed animal, by who they seek proximity to when they're stressed out. It's a beautiful note, a beautiful window into a bit of Jin's family of origin experience. And I love that. I am just over the moon with what this game is going to allow us to do. Also, they didn't need to put crabs on this beach, and they did, and I love it. Oh. No wonder all of you wanted me to play this. Thanks for taking the time to join me in it. The grass, man. Holy hell. I just want to... I can just close my eyes and play this. Just put this on a Bluetooth speaker and just go to bed. You know, like, holy hell, man.
Move! Come on.
That poison ivy? Looks like poison ivy. Hey, look at this.
You know.
Jin, what happened?
I found Lord Shimura. I could have saved him, but the Khan was there. I failed my uncle.
At least you're in one piece.
No, that's not gonna... That at least ain't gonna do it for him. I mean no offense here to Yuna on this, but that shows a complete lack of understanding of what Jin and samurai are all about. Like, this dude is steeped in a sense of failure and incompetence right now. Hitting him with the at least statement here is not gonna do it, because not that you have to agree that he's a failure, but she would do well to sit and listen to the way in which he's processing this, rather than hitting them with the "at least you're alive." There very well could be a part of him that's like, I don't really want to be. I should have been killed there. I shouldn't have been thrown off the bridge. That was disrespectful. He threw my ass off the bridge instead of chopping my head off. At least if he chops my head off, it's a warrior's death.
I swore to protect this island with my life. But now the Mongols have stolen our home, killed our samurai.
You forgot what it's like to fight someone stronger than you. To feel weak.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're staring death in the face, you have to do whatever it takes to survive.
The Khan expects to fight a war against the samurai. He will anticipate our every move. Unless we find new ways to surprise him.
Which means you're gonna have to break your code, big guy, because if he understands your code, he's gonna be able to see every single step you're gonna take. You are in for a world of dissonance, my man. You, sir, are going to have to buck the trends of what it is to be a samurai. If you want any chance, you're gonna have to fight dirty. You're gonna have to change things up. You're gonna have to question your code. You're gonna have to listen to Yuna. You're gonna have to do a whole bunch of shit that you don't want to do that you thought the code was gonna accomplish for you because your enemy knows you better than you do. Ouchie. It's beautiful, dude. It's great. This is how you craft a story, man. This is how you craft a story. My guy is about to go through the ultimate journey here of self-discovery. He is about to question principles that he forever thought were his own. Oh, this is great.
That's how we'll save Lord Shimura. And retake our home.
You'll need some help.
Raiders. The Khan's attack dogs.
There's too many of them! Hide! In the grass!
Oh god. This is like that Call of Duty level. Oh god. Where's my ghillie suit? Thank God for grass.
They must be searching for you.
Indeed.
Bastards scared off the horses.
They're samurai mounts, trained to return to their masters.
Huh. Maybe not make that much noise, huh?
Nice trick. The Mongols must be hunting you.
We should split up. I'll draw their attention while you escape.
I'm not leaving your side until we've saved my brother.
First, I need to find more allies. Trained warriors. Like Sensei Ishikawa and Lady Masuko Adachi. They can help.
My brother can help too. Once we save him, you'll have the island's best blacksmith in your debt. He'll make whatever tool you need to save your uncle.
Something to scale the castle walls?
You dream it, Taka can make it.
Where are they holding him?
He was captured near Kechi.
Ride there and ask around. I'll join you soon.
Taka won't last long in the Mongol cage.
Yuna. We will save your brother.
And your uncle.
Come on. Oh. Come on. If you sneak up on a Mongol dog, you can pet it. The dog will then become your ally. Hell yeah. Of Cool. It's a weird time to introduce that. Wow. Yeah. Part 2 is gonna be awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch part 1. I very much hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did. This is gonna be awesome. We will ride into town from this very position. It's great. This is awesome, man. I am so excited for what's to come. I'm gonna go to bed with a smile on my face tonight. Friends, please, if you liked this stream and you intend to continue watching the playthrough, which I really hope you do, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, engage. It makes all the difference. It makes a huge difference on my end, and it's totally free for you to do. It takes a second to hit that thumbs up button. I really hope I see you in part 2. There's always a huge drop off after part 1, no matter how good the playthrough is. I really hope you make the effort to go over to part 2. If you're a binge watching, I will see you there. If you're waiting for the next episode to come out, we will get it out to you as soon as you can. This is going to be a fun ride. Stick with it. Lots to learn. You matter. I'll see you in the next one.